Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Old House on the Corner. We're glad you joined us again. Well, today we're going to bring you the video that we had promised to bring you last week, and that's the video that we took a few weeks ago when Shannon and I took a trip to Watkins Glen International to enjoy some of the Hilliard Vintage Grand Prix events. This was to be a kind of last daddy-daughter date before Shannon gets married. In some ways, it still doesn't seem possible that a year ago Brianna and Nick got married, and they just recently celebrated their first year anniversary. And now, if you're watching this on October 9th, as you're viewing this video, I'm walking Shannon, our second oldest, down the aisle. So it's kind of fitting that this video got delayed until today. We hope you enjoy this week's video, and tune in again at the Old House on the Corner. Oh, and by the way, if you're an enthusiast of vintage auto racing and vintage sports cars, check out the link I've left down in the description of a bonus video I put together for you. It includes all the clips that I took out from this vlog, and you can hear the pure engine sounds because there's no talking and no music. Enjoy.
Old House on the Corner.
If you've never been to Watkins Glen International, otherwise known as The Glen, and you don't know what it looks like, typically if you looked up on the internet you would normally see a map of the track that looks something like this. What you don't realize is you're actually looking from west, bottom of the screen, to east, top of the screen. North is left, and south is right. However, if you were to look at this track above from a drone, it looks like this. This is Watkins Glen International. During any race weekend at Watkins Glen International, there's usually a lot of festivities that go on around the town and the surrounding area. During the annual Vintage Grand Prix weekend, there's a gathering of old sports cars, touring cars, and of course the vintage race cars. A lot of festivities go on, including recreation of the original Grand Prix route, which isn't on Watkins Glen International, the track. It's actually through the countryside and through the town. One of the activities that takes place is the Vintage Auto Parade that usually takes place on Friday before the race weekend. I'm lucky enough to work nearby where this parade takes place, and so on my lunch hour I went out and recorded some footage from it. This first clip is what you'll see from that Friday. Usually, when any of us are making a trip up to the track for a race weekend, it's tradition that we stop at the Blue Ribbon Diner in Montour Falls. This time was no different, and Shannon was glad to get her favorite choice, country fried steak. The beginning of these next clips show us driving up to the track, and Shannon actually filmed this part while I was driving. In order for you to get a good orientation of where we're coming in, which is actually Gate 2, I'm going to switch to Google Earth and rotate the track for the drive where we come up. You're going to see us come up this road and turn it into this drive that comes to Gate 2. From the gate, we're going to proceed straight up the hill. And we're actually going to enter the track here at the tunnel that goes underneath the backstretch. Once we parked, which was in this area, we walked to these grandstands, and the first race clips will be taken from this grandstand. The view you'll get is actually looking back down through the section known as the S's. This comes up the hill from the 90.
We're talking to Ashley coming up in a little bit, but really to enjoy the action showcase.
After watching a bit of the racing from this vantage point, we got up and headed across to the other side of the track. From where we were sitting here, we're actually going to walk and end up at this grandstand over here in this corner. From this grandstand, you can actually see this back straight section and also look down to the final turn before they head down to the start-finish line, which is here. It's this corner here that just a few years ago, my dad, Brianna, Megan, and I watched Chase Elliott win here at the Glen during the NASCAR weekend. Some of the static car displays you'll see take place in this general area. On Saturday they have a much larger car show. We were there on Sunday, so we missed it, but there were still some of them here. You'll see all kinds of vintage autos, foreign and domestic. Sports cars, touring cars, race cars, you name it. Even oddball stuff. We then return back to the grandstand you saw earlier that sits at the top of the S's. In the afternoon, Shannon and I then wandered back across to the other side of the track. Came down this walkway to Victory Lane, and then stepped out on pit lane. You'll also see some of the cars that just completed the Trans Am race. This next bit of footage is me looking up and down at the row of cars getting lined up for the Governor's Cup. After the cars left pit lane, we then walked over to this side And from this vantage point, looking back towards the footbridge, I recorded the cars coming around that final turn as they headed down the front stretch to the start-finish line for the green flag. After that, it was getting time for us to head home. The Buffalo Bills were playing and I didn't want to miss the whole game. We crossed here and entered this gate, and slowly made our way back across the track to where we had parked. You'll see a few of the cars coming out for the next scheduled race. Obviously another class than what you just saw in the Governor's Cup.
Well, thanks again for joining us here at the Old House in the Corner. We hope you'll come back again soon. Remember, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. We'd love it if you subscribe, hit that red subscribe button, and click the bell so you're notified when we post new videos. Come again soon. And yeah, we'd love it if you left some comments too.